What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Booster Jaden YouTube channel. Today we're gonna look at diagnostics on the Daily Swift because we've finally got access to the unit, and I'm gonna tell you about how my week went using the TM Swift because the Daily broke down last week. I had to use the TM for the whole of last week, 8 days till today. We're now dropping her back at the unit and we're taking the Daily Swift, so let's get into it. The week did go well with the TM for what it's worth, although she is, as you can see, I don't know how clearly it comes out on camera, but as you can see, hopefully, how dirty it is. And look at this rim. And then if I go into the corner here and do a little, see? It's filthy. I don't think the previous owner would let it get this bad, but it's had a hard week. Door jams. Quite a lot of build up in there. Yeah, see, she's filthy after 1 week's use, and it stinks like cigarettes in there. I'm probably going to need to go off for an ozone. Oh, it did alright. The colour of the bumper down here, hey, look at this. She's pretty filthy. But it did do a whole week. I did notice that something had happened here at some stage. I don't know if that was me or the previous owner or when it was in service. Not too sure. But it's there and it will most likely cut and polish out. This light, actually, when I was driving the car, I don't know what happened here, but this light is supposed to sit in here, but it was just dangling, so I had to take it out, and then I tucked the wire for it. Is right in there, I can feel it, so that's good. All the bolts were missing, so I had to go into the lock up there and find 2 bolts to fit, and then the light bulb for it is on this side and it's right there. It's one of those sort of, I don't know, that's probably a good bulb, which is good. Also, something that is coming soon that you should be aware of is the TM finally got a sub underneath the seat. So there is an update coming on that soon, and we've also installed an RPM gauge right there, so that will also be coming up very soon. And then we're gonna have to sort out this light. I had to tie this up. When me and Lockie, we took TM on a 600k journey in one day, and I had to cable tie it up to that, which, you know, you shouldn't really hang shit off wires, but I was left no choice, because otherwise, see in there, is cheese grating the guards. So these inner guards on both sides are coming off, and we're going to get new ones, because they're just rubbish. And, yeah, it's going to need a full intense cleaning. So, you know, it did have a good week. What is the mileage on TM actually as of today? 119,629. You know, it's done. I got the car with 115,800-ish on it. So I've finally done about, I don't know, a little over 3,000, I suppose. I mean, just this week gone, TM done about 1,500 Ks, and apart from it cutting out with the full boost problem that we've seen in the first drive video, it hasn't really been giving me a lot of grief. It does stop and it does cut out, but it always restarts. So, you know, that's something good. I'm gonna have to, I mean, TM's literally, it's been a busy car this week. So it's full of a lot of stuff. TM's loaded, but you know, it'll be okay. And now for the big question, which is the daily Swift. So I've already set up the mats so that we don't scrape any lips or anything. Let's pull it out. Oh, I wish you could smell the inside of this car. It is foul. Like gagging foul, like it is disgusting. So this is alright, so I'm literally got it on. I mean, it feels alright, but I don't know about that check light. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to leave the car running actually, with the windows all down, so that we can let a little bit of air into here. And we're going to have to give this a little tidy little clean, because I can't have people jumping in it in this state. Well, and the rest, cigarette ash everywhere, and oh god. So what I think we'll do next is give it a rev. Nah, see, it's fucking sluggish. She's not happy, but I don't think it can be a major, because it was running really good prior to bringing it here to, what did I do that caused the light? Well, I think what happened is, down in the corner here, through that light, there's a little sensor that sits on the rail, like right in behind there. I'm not even going to be able to get it in there to show you, but there's a sensor. I unplugged that sensor, and then, well, it started playing up from there. But how's our oil leak looking? Yeah, so there is oil. So we'll have to give that a quick little wipe. And we're just going to wipe off all the oil off the filter. Up around the top there, around that line for that plug for the oxygen sensor. I really hope that this ain't what the problem is, but we'll see. Kind of wiping all those crevices in the pan, and just, you know, give it a good wipe down in general. Should be okay. Don't see any reason why it wouldn't. That looks okay. Now that TM's back in the unit and the daily Swift is out of the unit, and we are going to talk about that front bumper in this video as well. But something I just thought that I'd quickly show you is that the outside of this car is actually really clean. Which means that when I put it away, it was put away clean. Look at the suspension travel. Looks okay. Right as I go to get into the daily Swift and put my seatbelt on, look at this. That is so loose, that is dangerous. Look at this one, it's all firm and in place. This one kind of just dangles. But I don't have time to sort that out right now. Okay. This car is filthy. I feel bad taking it in for diagnostics in this state, but what else am I meant to do, you know? So I've got to now check. It's sluggish, it's definitely in a limp mode. Like most definitely in a limp mode. Oh, clutching this is not like clutching TM, everyone. It's a daily Swift, and well, it shows. It shows. Like, look at everything. It's just a bit of a mess at the moment, but of course I'm not going to clean it up until I know that it's going to be fixed, you know. So we're going to head to the local parts store and get a scan done, and hopefully find out why that light is on. Well, here is something that's a little bit different. So we're almost at the auto parts store, but I thought I'd turn the camera on because the Daily Swift wants to be a little bit like a sister. You see, TM Swift loves a good backfire. Well, for the first time in 4 years, Susie does too, actually. The Daily Swift loves a good backfire. I keep hearing it doing these cool little ba-ba-ba-ba. It's pretty cool. Well, it's probably not cool. It's probably not meant to happen in this, but it is pretty cool. And apart from the light and the fact that it is a bit sluggish, it actually is running and driving. I actually think I could just use it as it is. To hell with fixing it. But we better find out what it's all about. We're gonna pull into the local, well, in New Zealand it's, you know, like a super cheap, like a Repco, an auto parts store. Alright, so I'm gonna go in and get the person to come out with the scan tool, and then we'll see what the haps is. Alrighty, so back from the auto parts store with our Bosch scan tool thing there. I noticed that they did the car wrong. It says that it's an M16A and the EZ model, which is New Zealand new, which it is not. Doesn't really matter. Our codes, system overview, so we've got 1 in engine control, 3 in the airbag, and 1 in the chassis, 3 in central electric system. So here are the codes: P0103, mass or volume airflow circuit, signal too large, so that's an airflow sensor. Crash sensor for front airbag driver's side, the line fault. Well, we know why there's a line fault on that, because it's got an aftermarket steering wheel on it with a resistor, which they traditionally don't like it, but unfortunately that's how the Japanese say to have the light off the dash. We've got system power fault, voltage too low, outside temperature sensor, airbag control unit, engine control unit, chassis and steering, and the engine speed signal malfunction. Now the engine speed signal, airbag control unit, I already knew about those. Same with the chassis and steering, that's fine. More the newer ones which have triggered the light is something to do with this airflow sensor and something to do with power system supply. So signal too large, so this was the one error that came back after they cleared it. And then on the second page the airbag shows that there's a problem with the front driver side airbag. Well, no shit. We know why. Outside temperature sensor. Now that was what I unplugged, which I sense is what triggered the light in the first place. Airbag control unit, that's fine, I don't really care. And engine control unit. So it is possible that the whole ECU could be fried. Power steering, speed signal malfunction. But that was on our initial scan from 6 months ago with 30,000 Ks less on the Daily Swift, so we're not too overly bothered about that. Let's just focus. Yep. Error memory could not be deleted. And then system overview. Those are the 4 codes that came back. Engine control, mass airflow sensor, steering and chassis, and engine speed signal. So the only one of those things that can trigger a check engine light is the mass airflow sensor. So what I'm thinking is that based on that report here, what we're going to do is we're going to probably disconnect the battery and swap out the airflow sensor and see if that fixes the issue. I'm not too sure if it will, but it could do. We've got to at least try. So let's try it. I've got to get the lockup open, get some tools, and then we're into it. Alright, so based off our codes here, which says outside temperature sensor, open circuit. Now that sensor is interesting that comes up, because when I fitted the front bumper, the new front bumper to the car and did it off camera, I actually unplugged that sensor and then started the car, and that's when I noticed the light. I'm very confused about the mass airflow, but I tell you what we've gone and done. I've gone and gotten a new airflow sensor and a new outside temperature sensor, which our new sensor, which I don't know where it is, but there are two. There's our new sensor that I got right there. So it's quite a good one. It came off a low K Swift, and then I've already taken the... Okay, there's something very wrong with this picture. Maybe we'll just put this up over here. Alright, anyways, I took the bumper off to save some time. We've got to disconnect the battery, and then our sensor, which is located right here, see if I can get a good focus. Now this sensor has just been dangling down underneath there, down on the ground. That sensor should be, see there's a plastic thing missing and it should sit on there. Well, our new sensor, which I don't even know where I put it, here, our new sensor has the clip on it, and also if we look at the numbers on it, so 7500 and then 5191, let's compare it then to this one. They're exactly the same number, and you can tell which sensor is better. And then I'll walk the long way, but in the unit here we also have another airflow sensor, which is a Denso, it's a Suzuki, and it's a genuine. I've already took the time to clean it, prep it for installation. Having some focusing problems, eh? Alright, so see, you can see that it's a bit dirty around the ring, but not too bad. Connector's good. We'll disconnect the battery. So to do this, you actually need a 12mm to undo this one. Loosen it off, and then there we go, disconnected. Make sure it's right out of the way of the battery, like that. And then what I really should do is I really should take off the positive as well, just in case. Then it gives the car no excuse to give us any grief. We're going to just dump that down in there. Shouldn't do, but the car's not running, so just get that one right off as well. Bit gouged up those terminals, but that's alright. So that's our whole battery disconnected. Now we're going to take this and move it out of the way a little bit. It's a bit hard to do that, but we've got to do our best in these scenarios. And I'm going to unscrew the airflow sensor so we can put the new sensor in, because it says that there's an issue with the sensor, so we have to assume that the sensor has gone bad. It's highly possible that it hasn't, and that it's something to do with that outside temperature sensor, but I want to cover all bases with this one. So we're going to pull it out carefully, and then I should be able to. And this one is also a factory focus. Doing a lot of, oh, there we go. Denso Suzuki, so same as the one that we had. I'm going to literally stick that up on here for my other bits, and then I'm going to go and grab the new airflow meter and then we'll put it in. Here's our replacement airflow meter, and I'm going to stick it in like that, and then we'll screw it all up. I'm hoping that this will work. Probably need a scan tool to fix this, but if I can get it to run a little bit better where it's not cutting out, sputting and dying and, you know, making a big scene of itself in the street, then I'll be pretty happy. Plug it in and it went click, so that's it, all in. Alright, so here is our factory sensor, which we're gonna unplug it carefully like that, and it's pretty dirty in comparison to the new one. We're gonna plug in the sensor, and I did hear it click, but I'm gonna do it again just for good measure. The terminals look good, the usual dirt build up in them, and then we're gonna click it on to there, which is where it should sit. Now we have a new sensor installed. Next, I think we should reinstall the battery so that we've got power when we go to do this, which is fairly straightforward. You just, you know, I always hook up the positive first and then the negative second. Positive terminal on, and then put the bottle back in the slot there, and then negative, so that we've got good earth. Now that we've got that all sorted out, I think what we'll do is we'll go into the Daily Swift and we'll test it and see if it now runs and drives perfect. And I'm not going to cut it, so that we can do it together and get a fair response. Just jump in the car. $1 million question. Will it start? Will it run? And will it be fixed? No different. Nah, see, it's too sluggish. Foot flat. So it's backfiring, sputtering and carrying on. It's definitely not running the best, so I think that's a fail. Alright, so it's the next day and we're back at the auto parts store and we're going to get the car scanned again. I did replace the airflow sensor like we've seen and the temperature sensor, which it said to on our sheet, and in the glove box there's going to be the sheet here. Bear with me a second. And one of our things was mass airflow circuit, signal too large, and outside temperature sensor. So I replaced those. I'm not worried about the airbags, I'm not worried about the engine speed signal. I think what's put the light on is probably the airflow sensor and the outside temperature sensor. We've replaced them. I'm going to go in, get someone to come out and scan the car again. Alright, we're back from the auto parts store a second time. This scan tool time said the proper engine code, which the other one didn't. So that's our new sheet, and Where's the old sheet? Oh, it's here. See, M16A, the EZ model right there. But this one says Z, manual transmission. Codes that are still there, the airflow sensor circuit, so we didn't fix that problem. Outside temperature sensor, well, we replaced both of them, and look, error memory could not be deleted. There's also an engine speed signal malfunction, which I couldn't get to clear either, which that one there in particular has been there for years. I'm not bothered about that one. It's this one and this one that's creating the issue. At this stage, I don't know what the problem is with the Daily Swift, so I think that there's nothing left to do now but to put it into an auto sparky and get them to fix it. So you can see our codes are definitely a lot less than what they were the first time. It's saying that the signal's too large, but I couldn't find much about it. And then number of errors. So there's one in the ECM, and then there's one in the power steering. So I don't know what's wrong with the Daily Swift. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it into an auto sparky and we'll deal with it that way. Alright everyone, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did like it, give this video a big thumbs up. And if you didn't like this type of content, give me the thumbs down, because that'll help tell me and YouTube that you like or don't like the content. It is a car channel and I'm trying to keep it as to Swifts as possible at this time, so bear with me as I try and make content better. I've got several videos that need to be edited, queued for posting, and we will get onto that fairly shortly. Follow me on Instagram if you're not already, link will be on the screen and in the description box. Also subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll catch you in the next video.